What's up, everybody? Welcome to Heavy Rock Podcast. I hit the audio a little too soon, so there's that.
Wow!
All right. Anyway, we're gonna talk some NFL all day, every day, at least until NBA starts, because the Royals are failing. But it's okay. It's okay.
Hey, Salvi has 45 home runs though.
Yeah, he's doing really good. He's kind of like a Dwayne Bowe right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he's good, but right now his team sucks. You know, but.
I don't know. I would compare Salvi to him.
Jamal Charles, is that better? Because he had that
a little
one,
bit.
he had that one 200 yard game, breaking records that way. So yeah,
I would say
go ahead. Try
just
try to
there's
try to
um
Bronco it out. Come on, I know you're going to. Come on, go ahead.
I don't know. I just not about like ability. We know Jamal Charles was awesome, and Dwayne Bowe had like 3 All Pro seasons or at least Pro Bowl seasons. But you're talking about Salvador Perez, who's like a 8-time Gold Glove. Like his accolades outshine them completely.
Well, yeah, obviously there's only one Salvi, but it's like a great player on a bad team. That's what I'm saying. Okay, don't be
So
me.
like
Don't be me.
so like me played on with Omar and Jordan and you. No, I'm just kidding.
No, don't even put me in that category. That is not even right. All right, we're gonna talk.
Omar and Jordan, if you're out there listening, man, or men, we
We're
love
gonna
and
okay,
miss you.
just stop. Okay, just stop.
I
We're
got
gonna
I got 2 words for you.
say okay. Week one ended with a bizarre, honestly bad game in my opinion. Um,
Okay, I
uh,
didn't. I
did you
got
watch
mad about it.
any of it?
Yeah. So 60 yards by Tyson Williams in the first half gets literally 7 plays the rest of the game. I'm like, if you would have just kept running him, the game would have been over. Because
Well,
he would just, you know, oh gosh, I
the
can't stand coaches like that. It reminds me of San Francisco when they played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and like Cleveland when they played the Chiefs in the playoffs. It wasn't this year; it was a couple years ago, I think. It's like you have those leads. Tennessee the same way. You have those leads. Why change? Why stop?
um, so my thing is with the Ravens, they were exhausted. You know, you had four, running backs hurt, or not four running backs, but four players hurt with three running backs. Um, Marlon Humphrey was working so hard the whole night. I mean, he was killing it. Obviously, to end the game, he got scored on. He got, but that was like the best play of the game. Is that one play, and that's probably the best play. Period.
Yeah, I think it was that and the Williams 38-yard run when he
Yeah,
just.
and the thing is Lamar Jackson was
Ugh.
obviously exhausted. I don't think he played. He played bad, yeah, but he also was the only reason why the ball was moving.
Mhm.
Max Crosby was annihilating. I forgot the name of the top of my head.
Villanueva.
Villanueva, and no, they would never switched it up. They never tried to double team him. Nassib would curl around him to get Crosby ready to go. But anyways, Max Crosby killed it. I mean, he looked like a Pro Bowl out there.
Yeah, he played.
But with Lamar Jackson, he had a perfect throw to Samuel Watkins. They just couldn't do anything. It's not anything to do with
They
Lamar's
stopped running the
ability.
ball. They started. No. I put it on the coach, 100% because you start running Latavius Murray, who averaged 2.3 yards or something like that game, 8 times. He ran 8 for like 17 in the fourth quarter or something like that, third and fourth quarter. What are you doing? The rookie
So
running back had 60 yards.
yeah.
He averaged 8 yards, almost 8 yards a carry, something crazy like that. And then this week they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna run everybody. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
whoa.
difficult because um, with all them running backs out, you don't want your ball in the third string, the practice squad running back. So even though if he's going off, especially with even if he's doing good, you can't keep the ball in his hands because it could cause fumble, especially if the team is thriving.
Lamar fumbled 3 times though.
Latavius Murray. So the only reason why they ran him is in red zones and stuff, and he did score.
That's his
the
longest
score
run in
he
the game
scored,
was
he was
7.
literally holding the ball like this, and he looked around. He was like, "Nobody's around me. Okay, I'm in the touchdown."
Was it 7 yards? That was the longest run he had all game.
And it's crazy because this was not the game to lose for the Ravens. This was the game to win for the Raiders, and the Raiders looked like crap. And I know everyone's talking, and the thing that bugs me the most, which maybe it's just because I don't like him, I've never really liked him, but Derek Carr, people are saying he's elite after this, and it makes zero sense. He played a team without their best corner, so there was only one defensive back that was decent, he did terrible the whole game. They were down because of his play. And I remember listening to the person talk about how he's changing the play at the line. He would change it and still mess up through personal error, not through him changing it, making a mistake like that, just through freaking out and making a bad play. And then you talk about the end of that game. Whenever they went into overtime, they threw it, stopped at the 1 yard line, knee was down. Everyone stormed the field, think it's over, it was a good game, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And they're at the 1 yard line, okay? This guy throws a slant like it's a post. And everyone was blaming Willie Snead for it. His hands touched the ball and went way behind his freaking body. I mean, you're not supposed to throw it that hard. He is wide open. There's probably not a person near him that's even able to stop this if the throw was a good throw, an elite quarterback throw.
I think that when you say the word elite, you can't. There's only
if he can't win a
maybe
Super
4.
Bowl. If he can't win a Super
4 or
Bowl,
5,
he's not elite.
Yeah.
If you
there's only 4 or 5 quarterbacks that are elite, in my opinion. So I wouldn't say that. I say he's better than people give him credit. Like most people give him credit for. People think he's always on the Raiders. He sucks. I mean, he threw for 440 yards.
Yeah, but they also stopped running it though. They ran it probably 7 times, and now Josh Jacobs is out for I think
maybe
at
that's
least
why
this
they
week.
did.
But
that might be why they stopped running. Honestly.
No, because Kenyon Drake can run and receive. They just wanted to throw because I don't know. I honestly
he has
I
that
don't.
in common with he has that in common with somebody on his team. So.
But it's so he targeted Waller 19 times, and half of the.
No, that first quarter was bad. He threw it to him.
It was real bad. He was not even giving him a chance. Yeah. But going back to what I was talking about with the 1 yard line, so he before he threw that slant and got intercepted, he tried to sneak the ball in real quick, understandably. Mm-hmm. Then after he fails, he fake hikes the ball. Of course your line's gonna jump. They're already expecting you to run the ball. Of course your line's gonna jump, and I understand Leatherwood. He's not the best lineman. Especially coming out of Alabama, but
he's out for the season, I think now too.
You don't fake hike at the 1 yard line, you don't. And then it goes back to the 5, and he throws that terrible pass. And luckily, Lamar Jackson fumbled it because that game would have been over. I mean, you get it to the 50, 40 yard, or if you get it to the 40 yard line. Justin Tucker would nail it, That's all he needed to do.
I said this game is 100% on Harbaugh, 100%.
Well, it's also the fatigue, though. Like I said, I mean,
I get it. But at the same time, the game is in the bag. Even if you just draw up a quarterback draw just for 4 or 5 yards, a couple times there in the fourth quarter, the game's over.
Yeah.
The game is over.
Yeah.
Instead, you want to drop back and pass it with Lamar Jackson, who's not a drop-back passer. No matter, he looked decent the other day throwing the ball, but he's not a drop-back passer. He'll never be that, ever. No. So you got to do what – it doesn't matter if you're on your 18th string player. you have to you just win the game. I mean, it's in this. I hate teams that are known for running the ball, and then in the third or fourth quarters when they are up and you're supposed to run the ball, you decide your team is a drop back passing team.
So the thing with that is he didn't even have time to drop back. And I honestly think he's an actual better passer dropping back than he is on the scramble. Because when he scrambles, he wants to run right away. Obviously, he had that perfect pass to Sammy Watkins on the go, but besides that, he's really not good throwing on the run. But with that being said, I do blame Harbaugh because they didn't make Villanova they didn't put a double team on Max. When you're having that big of a trouble with somebody, you have to. And then you look at Marlon Humphrey, he was forced to do so much on that defense, of course, in overtime. And if you watch that last play, which I think they got the penalty on purpose, obviously, when you were watching it live, it looked like it was on purpose. It was a smart move by Gruden. It really was. The pass was weird, but Zay Jones was, calm and collective and caught that thing. It was a great catch. But Marlon was lined up right where Waller is because he had to. I mean, you have to guard the best. Frickin' guy right next to him bumps him. When the ball hikes, he bumps him. Zay Jones gets free. Marlon, runs out, and obviously he had no choice.
Yeah.
But I mean, that guy was as tired as Lamar was. He was doing so much on that defense. He was asked to do so much, and he did really good. I mean, you're talking about Darren Waller, probably top 2, top 3 tight ends in the league. 50% of his, and obviously I know Derek Carr threw some bad passes in those 19 attempts, but the others wasn't. It's not like Waller dropped the ball.
No.
Yeah.
And like I said, there was a period probably in the third quarter to early fourth quarter where I'd say late third quarter, maybe early to mid fourth quarter, where Derek Carr was on point. He's got hot.
Fourth.
He did.
Fourth.
Yeah, he just got super hot where most of his plays was where it should be. I mean, like I said, he still threw for 435 yards. I mean, no matter what, even if you're going against a horrible defense, I mean, that's probably at least top 10, 15 quarterback worth. I mean, I would take him over most of these young quarterbacks right now. I mean, but I don't think he's elite. That shouldn't be a word until he wins some playoff games, or at least.
So you at least make the playoffs.
Yeah.
At least. We
talked about this last week. Ever since he got his knee freaking destroyed,
it is, and it's a real thing.
It's up here.
It's a real thing.
He can do everything physically. I mean, he can throw it, all across. It's up here.
That's why anytime he talks, he talks about how he's underrated and all this stuff. It's like, this is you. It's not anyone saying this. It's you. He's almost like LeBroning himself, trying to think he's better than what he is, which obviously LeBron is better than Derek Carr. But it's just like, it frustrated me so much watching that game because it was just punt after punt after punt. I think there was probably 4 field goals in the whole game attempted, and that was that means no one was moving. There's no one on the defense of the Ravens besides Marlon Humphrey that was doing anything. And whenever Derek Carr's out of the pocket, it's like the spazziest thing watching him. Mariota was in it for like one play that ran for like 30 yards and then never saw the field again.
I know, it's funny.
Both sides did not do any good play calling at all. They'd never used Kenyon Drake. I think he caught 2 passes.
He was 6 for 11 rushing, and then
not used. He just
he had 5 for 59 receiving.
Yeah. That was fourth quarter. But you didn't see him before that, and Henry Ruggs got a good ball.
They're just like big plays is what it was.
Yeah.
Waller big play, Edwards, everything is
this
big
type of game.
Sorry,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, man.
This type of game, you're not gonna beat the Saints like you did last year. You're not gonna beat a Bucks. You're not gonna beat the Chiefs. You're not gonna beat the Broncos. That defense is not gonna let you catch this fire. You're not gonna beat Justin Herbert. You're not gonna beat these teams that you're compared to. throughout the year. And that's the thing. It's like, how can you say he's elite when he's facing probably the most damaged team in the NFL?
Oh yeah.
And honestly,
Houston
Lamar Jackson, this is the most questionable year of his career. But go ahead, sorry.
No, he had a quarterback hit. I thought Justin Houston had a sack, but he got close. He smacked Derek Carr in the face.
Yeah, they had pressure. No one was standing out. Marlon was standing out. He did a fantastic job, but
there are a bunch of no-name corners besides Humphrey right now because of
Yeah.
getting hurt. So it's different. I'm sure they wanted to trade for one of the Broncos cornerbacks, but the Broncos said no because they got 4 quality cornerbacks.
Well, it's only been a week. I mean, I think three injuries in a week. So I mean,
So Dobbins was early. Dobbins was probably first week of preseason, I think. Right?
Gus was the
week of
last
preseason.
week, and then the
Gus
other
was literally last week. So was Peters.
and then the other running back.
Hill was the week of our football draft, so it was actually 2 weeks before the season started.
Okay. So yeah, it's
so in about a month period, they lost all those players, and they also lost. Someone else got hurt. Their guard got hurt out for the season.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now. Good? Was it Good? Is that his name, or is that
I don't
the
remember.
Raider?
Probably bad then.
bad.
But yeah, it was so hard to watch, and I was like wanting the Raiders just to finish the game. That's how bad it was being played. Like it was.
Did you see? Speaking of this game, did you see in our fantasy football league that my uncle Tim beat Raji on that last-second touchdown throw by Carr?
No, really? How much?
He won by 0.3.
Oh my god. There
was like 18 times that game could have ended, and
exactly.
Raji would have won. So
yeah, it's that's funny. Sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulties.
That's a technical foul.
Wow. But yeah, it was a crazy game, man. It really was. Talk about a crazy game though. Did you watch Thursday Night Football?
I did.
Good
not
Lord.
all of it, most of it.
There's a lot of talking to do on this game. there's a lot of talking to do. First of all, Daniel Jones actually played really well. I know there's this.
I thought he was gonna fall.
Yeah, I know. I kept waiting for him to fall. There was this one play though where he sunk in quicksand. Whenever a Sterling Shepard was open for a screen right to his left, he folded like an accordion. Like I don't know what happened.
It happened. Something similar like that happened, and Galladay was down the seam on like literally wide open. No one was there. There was no one even seeing him, and that's why Galladay got mad and threw a temper tantrum like he's the greatest wide receiver in history, and he's not.
I don't blame Galladay though. I don't, and especially how Daniel Jones reacted to it. Like if you listen to him after the post conference, he handled it. He handled it real well. So I don't think that's a problem at all.
No, they both came out and said it's not that it's just two players talking, whatever. But at the same time,
you can't let that show. You can't.
The whole offense, like Daniel Jones and all the running backs, like Barkley and everybody, they get the ball, they hike the ball, and there's people in their face as soon as they hike it, no matter what play it is. It's like there's nothing they can do.
They did really well, honestly, for versing that defense. I don't even think he had one turnover, did he?
No. Nope.
And
almost 100 yards rushing and rushing touchdown.
Heineke looked rough. He made great plays though, but he was slipping all over the place. He looked super nervous.
The field was bad.
Yeah, but I mean. That
throw though, the 2 touchdown throws were on point.
Oh yeah, and
I like him, man. I think because he's a St. Louis Battlehawk.
Yeah, yep, that's our team. Jordan Yamu.
Yeah.
But that game, Terry McLaurin, he's just crazy. The way he knows how to catch the ball, like in a certain amount of coverage, is outstanding. The last week with the Chargers. When he leaned back so far and caught the ball, which that's what you're supposed to do, but that consistent that he has, I think he has a catch rate of 68%. That's just crazy. And anytime you see him, he has like two people on him or like a very small window to where he's catching these balls. And it kind of sucks that he doesn't have this um, elite quarterback to throw it to. Because imagine if he did. I mean, it'd be crazy. How
I mean, I would still be happy with Heineke going for 330 and 2 touchdowns.
no,
I mean,
I have nothing. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. I'm saying
no. If he, but
a
I feel
quarterback
like
that throws deep. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's showing on here because I had the stats pulled up. That throw in the end zone to the tight end, that was a perfect
Oh yeah, that
pass,
Logan
man.
Thomas.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was proud of it. I mean, of course, I have him in fantasy because I had Fitzpatrick, but I think he blew my expectations away. I was expecting like 200 yards max and maybe one or two touchdowns, but I think the interception. He didn't expect that guy to rub. It was a play that a lot of quarterbacks do.
Yeah.
You know, they just know that their players got one-on-one, and if he didn't get rubbed off by that cornerback, the other cornerback, he would have been there.
Yeah.
McLaurin would have had it. It'd been a normal 5, 6, 7 yard catch. So he was mad at himself, but it wasn't like he just threw it in a horrible across the middle and nobody was there.
Yeah.
You know.
But I honestly
it almost cost
expected
him
it.
game, but the defense is good.
Yeah, I honestly expected him to throw like he did. I thought Antonio Gibson would do better. It kind of sucks that how bad he did, but it is his sophomore year. Normally, running backs get accustomed to sophomore year. People know he's the real deal.
And he didn't have crazies, but he still averaged over 5 yards a carry.
Oh yeah.
Yards.
But
so it's like it's.
Go ahead.
It's not so it's there hasn't been too many running backs this year so far breakout.
No,
they really hasn't, and I think that's because with this extra,
But yeah, I think J.D. McKissick, right?
Yeah.
He was in the crunch time more than Gibson, so I think they relied on him a little more when it came to crunch times. But
especially that receiving, yeah.
We need to talk about that ending. First of all, Sterling Shepard, awesome. Daniel Jones did awesome.
Should have caught the ball.
Yeah. Who dropped the ball?
Wasn't it Shepard?
No, it was Darius
Slayton.
Slayton.
Yeah. Slayton should have caught the ball.
So I don't listen to them all the time, but I listen to what's it called? KJM, Keyshawn J. Williams, and now it's Max. So I listen to the person that played the sport. Okay, I don't care what Jay says. I don't care what Max says. But Keyshawn said he looked nervous. That route he looked nervous, and he talked about whenever Zay Jones, the day after that happened, he talked about how that's a really hard spot to be in as a receiver because it's so easy to where it becomes hard. You know what I'm saying? So he said that he looked real nervous, and it's funny how he was just talking about Zay Jones looking so calm and caught it easily, and Slayton was just like, I gotta catch it, and just like fell on his face because that was a good pass. That was a good pass.
He put it where he could get it. That's what he had to do. So
yeah. So I mean, that was awesome. They had this one, especially in crunch time. The defense was killing it. The offense was getting some movement going. Before this happened, I think this was like second quarter, first quarter, whenever Daniel Jones ran a touchdown for like 30 yards, 40 yards, and got took back. They just had way too many penalties as a team, especially the field goal that Dustin Hopkins, who does not miss, missed the field goal, and you jump.
The second one too.
You don't jump in the field goal, man. I mean, it's not that big of a deal to block. I mean, I guess because it's Dustin Hopkins, it is kind of a big deal to block it. But anyway,
Yeah.
What a good game. What do you think was a better game? I know you didn't watch the. Jeez, I know you didn't watch the Monday game. What do you think was a better
That
game?
irritated me. Yeah, the Giants game.
Me too. Because it was actually competitive.
There wasn't really like stupid mistakes besides you said that offsides or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think one turnover that intercept that late or mid fourth quarter but like there wasn't. It was they scored on every drive, but I think like two or three or something like that total.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a good game. I thought for being a Thursday night game between the Redskins and the Giants, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought that I think next week is the week that they let Saquon loose, which they need to because they need to they need to quit running like the Jason Garrett running this like right up the middle every time, and I'm like, you don't have the offensive line to do that. You need to do
No.
some different kinds of runs to get your best players with the ball in their hand. And he just doesn't. I mean, uh, they're not getting their playmakers involved. Galladay has what does he have? 3 catches total this game. So I think he had one last week, right? Like 1 catch last week, something like that. So he had like 4 total catches. They're starting to get Saquon back into the swing of things, but I mean, on that 45-yard run, he looked good. He stiff armed that guy, and Chase Young kept up with him. But at the same time, the reason Chase Young was with them is because right before that, Saquon literally drove the guy's head into the, So
The only thing with, I think they needed to run in the middle this game because you have Montez Sweat and Chase Young, and obviously Payne is not it's not bad. He is really good, but he is he is the weak spot in that line.
It's garbage, man. Their O-line's so bad.
But I mean, that's when you play him like McCaffrey. I mean, he is just like McCaffrey. You need to utilize him.
Yeah, I'm not saying they can't run the middle because I think that every team needs to at least sometimes. But I'm saying the play was literally just dive right here, the same spot.
No screens. I think there was one screen that was I think that 40-yarder.
They did like a fake screen to Saquon where they had one offensive line roll out and then they came back to the other side with like I think it was the rookie Tony that caught that, didn't he? No, someone caught. It was like a 1-yard catch for like a 1-yard catch. It was stupid. It's like a waste of a whole play. I'm like. I'm hoping next week they start utilizing Saquon like they should. Like they're trying to work him back from a torn ACL. I got into it with a couple people on Facebook. They're like, Saquon's garbage. Hasn't been good since his rookie year. And I'm like, dude, he had 2,000-yard seasons his first 2 years, and then last year he got hurt. What is he supposed to do?
I saw one bad play from him, and that was he didn't know his surroundings. It was a dive play. And he spun into like all of his linemen that was to the right of him. Mm-hmm. That was the only bad play I saw that stood out to me.
And I think they got to get their playmakers involved. They drafted that rookie Tony in the 22nd overall, so they got to get him. I think he has 2 catches, and Galladay has 4 in 2 games.
Yeah.
And so they got it. It needs to be the focal point. It can't be a Sterling Shepard show every single week. They're not going to win. They're not going to be good teams. Washington is a good defensive team and a solid offensive team, but they're not going to beat the likes of the Buccaneers, the Chiefs. They're not going to beat those teams unless they start getting their playmakers involved. They're just not.
No,
it's like it goes back to the Oakland Raiders. Like we compared it, they're just not. They're not going to win a lot of games unless they,
They have one target down the field, and that is Darren Waller. You're not going to throw Henry Ruggs a go. You're not. He's not going to catch it. He's a slant. He's a slot. Zay Jones is not that good enough to be a consistent deep threat. Henry Renfrow. I didn't talk about this when we talked about the Monday game. If you watch that game, he was out there flopping for flags. It was ridiculous. I mean, there's this one play where literally a basketball flop. Like somebody touched him and goes, falls down. I'm like. This guy is ridiculous.
I think it was in the Washington game, but the kicker got pushed down, and they didn't call anything. The kicker got up, like, talking stuff to a defensive lineman, and the defensive lineman goes, and he falls down, and then they all go, where's the flag at? And like, nah, you don't deserve a flag for that.
All right, so now we're going to move on. I'm actually going to talk about week 1 in general, just to go over our predictions and how wrong we were.
Horrible.
No, we didn't do horrible. We didn't do horrible. We knew Tampa was going to win. They won. We called Philly winning. We said Buffalo was going to win. They lost, so that's negative. Both of us won. Mm-hmm. We said Minnesota was going to win. That's -2. So right now we're tied. We said San Fran was going to win, which honestly the scoreboard doesn't say the difference in that game. I mean,
Yeah,
my
they did the same thing.
the
They stopped
backups
running
were
the ball.
in.
I don't understand. I thought they learned when they played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. If you're up by 2 touchdowns, run the dang ball. Run the ball. What are you doing? They did the same thing. They stopped running the ball.
Yeah. Which they only had one running back, so maybe he could have been exhausted. But.
I know, but you get paid millions of dollars. Run the dang ball.
Arizona versus Titans. I think we both picked Arizona. Do you remember what you picked?
I might have went Titans.
All right, then that's -3 for you then.
I don't know for sure though. We gotta write this down.
I'll listen back to it. Seattle, we picked them beating the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles, you picked Los Angeles. I picked the football team. So I'm -3 also. So right now we're tied. Carolina, we picked to beat the Panthers. This one, -4 both of us. Houston. Everybody says Urban Meyer's going to USC.
I know it's stupid. Like one game.
I doubt that. So
one game with a rookie quarterback.
Man,
like,
Did you see that picture where that guy, that D lineman or lineman was right behind him going?
No.
There's a picture. He was just like, I hate this dude. a lot of like reports are saying that no one's liking the way he's trying to lead these grown adults. So we're -4 both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then
restless.
Yeah, the Houston Texans are very restless. But yeah, Houston looked incredible, honestly, for being a team that people expected to be terrible. Tyrod Taylor's doing his thing.
Like 75 yards.
Yeah, exactly. Which he's getting old, and he's kind of passing the forbidden age, and it's awesome to see him still thriving. After killing Colt McCoy's career. Cleveland versus Kansas City. You said Kansas City this week, right? Or did you say all in?
I said Kansas City probably. I said Kansas City wins this one, but I think Cleveland wins in the playoffs.
Okay, so we're still 0-4. Here comes -5. Miami Patriots. I honestly didn't even see the highlights for this. What happened? Because I heard Mac Jones looked good.
The running back fumbled on the fourth quarter and for the Patriots, and they lost. That's pretty much that sums it up. It was a good game.
Okay.
It was a decent game. It was a defensive game kind of, but you kind of expect that with Tua in the first year rookie. But Mac Jones still looked good. I mean, it wasn't like oh my gosh, but I think he had like 200 something yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, he I heard he did real good.
281 actually. Wow.
Yeah, for being a first time starter, I heard he did really good. Negative, I think. Did you pick New Orleans versus the Packers?
I think we both picked the Packers.
All right, so then there were -6.
Mm-hmm.
Which was 8 games.
You picked against the Broncos though, so I know that one's coming up.
Yeah, that's actually next. Broncos won, Giants. So I'm 0-7. You're 0-6. Or -6. I'm sorry. All right, then Chicago versus Rams, we both got that right, and then Las Vegas versus Baltimore, we got that right as well. So,
do we both pick the Raiders?
Yeah, we both picked the Raiders because it's first at home.
Oh yeah. I'm up by 1.
Up by 1. Did you pick the Giants or the football team?
I think I said Giants.
Okay, I think I said.
I thought Patrick was going to be there though.
I think I said football team.
Yeah, I at that time I didn't know. There's so much things you don't know. So
I'll have to listen to it again because I think you said football team. I could be wrong.
Did I?
I
might have.
And also, you said you thought Fitzpatrick would be there, but you said you picked the Giants.
And maybe that's why I picked the Redskins in. Excuse me, the football team. Sorry, guys.
Dude, he said it. Now we're banned. All right, 20 episodes
Oh
in and we're
my gosh.
banned.
Shut
Uh,
up.
does week one change anything for you for what you believe in week two? Off the top of your head, does anyone stand out to make a difference for what you thought before?
I will say this: there's two players that really stood out to me this week that I did not expect to like do good, and I didn't expect their teams to win. Joe Burrow's one of them, beating Minnesota. It was a crazy game. I know, field goals, overtime, whatever. Still, he led that team. And also, I'll say that I didn't expect this, but I pretty much knew that Jalen Hurts was going to have a good first game. At least
That's
I
my
knew
boy.
he's the real deal.
Yeah.
I knew he's a real deal, and I know it's one game, but it doesn't matter. He's 300 plus yards and 65 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Is still that's elite. That could be elite someday. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, and
Especially,
Devontae Smith looked good too.
He was using all of his targets.
He looked real fast.
Yeah, he did really good. I'm very happy. So you said the end of this game or after this game, Justin Fields will start against the Bengals. Do you still believe that?
I think he should. And I think it's weird when the offensive coordinator comes out and says he should. And I think it's weird that literally everybody in the whole city and the owner says he should. And the only person that says no is Matt Nagy.
See, so what's crazy about this year, especially with all these quarterbacks, is the roulette's crazy. I mean, we saw all these teams that played both quarterbacks, which honestly the Patriots could have done the same too.
But I don't think
that's still kind of weird that they did that. Obviously, opinions on Cam are here or there, but they still could have used it, especially with your running back fumbling. But with that being said, yeah, it's weird to see because it's only like once here and there. Like even Mariota, they use out of the blue.
Yeah.
So.
You go down the line. I mean, here, let's just look at these teams. Okay, so Miami, New England. You didn't know if Tua was going to be the starting quarterback. They thought they were going to get Deshaun. Mac Jones. We didn't know Mac Jones. We thought it was Cam Newton. Dallas, is Dak okay? Tampa Bay, we knew. I mean, come on now. There's like 3 or 4 teams in Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore. Literally the 4 teams that no matter what, you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
You didn't know if Roethlisberger was coming back for Pittsburgh. We didn't know the Jets were taking, Wilson. And the Carolina trading for Darnold. I mean, it's just crazy. Just go down the list, and there's only, like I said, like 4 teams, maybe 5 teams. We knew Kyler was going to be Kyler. Matt Ryan's. We didn't know if Matt Ryan was going to have that job. They might have traded for a quarterback or got a quarterback in the draft. So there's really 5 teams that you went into this season like 100% is going to be the starting quarterback of our team. So.
And that's crazy. This is probably one of the craziest seasons of football, especially with 17 games. A lot can happen, especially with these questionable quarterback battles. So now what we're going to do is, since we already made our predictions, we're going to harden our opinions on each of these games. I know I switched my opinion from Broncos to Giants to Broncos, but I still kept my Giants pick. So we're gonna still do that, but since we're kind of catching up now, we're gonna get a deep dive in these games and what we think is gonna stand out in each of these games. Cincinnati versus Chicago. To me, I see David Montgomery actually being good the whole game. I see him being the difference maker, especially him versus Joe Mixon. I still
he had a good game the other night. They just stopped playing him.
So he had
crazy.
one great run. But besides that, he did subpar or below. That one great play was like to start it off, and immediately that was me losing my game. One big play. But
so we take away the big play, which is a 41-yard run. He was 15 for 67, which is a little over 4 yards. So it's like about 4.3, which against the Rams defense, though.
Yeah.
So, I think one of the reasons they were in that game, I know 34-14 doesn't look like it, but it wasn't at like 17 It was 13-7 at half.
They were in it till Stafford said nah. The
Yeah,
the difference was that
I can't stand coaches
the di-
that change their game plans mid
no
game,
the
and it just
difference
ruins it.
between the two teams and why it got spread out is one is trying to manage the game, the other is just killing the game.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And what's funny is people never, for some reason, people didn't know that Stafford was this good. I mean,
I said it. We talked it. We both said it. We said it.
yeah,
We said it.
exactly. There was years to no matter the record, he was looking better than Rodgers, and they're in the same division. But
Yeah,
the,
but with
he was just
Rodgers
always
just had
hurt.
the better roster.
Yeah, exactly, and he was always hurt, and people just thought he threw it just to Megatron. That's false, you know. But yeah, in this game, we'll get back on target. That's my bad. I see Joe Burrow doing good, but I also see him getting sacked a lot. I mean, obviously the Bears are better than the Vikings, but the Vikings is still a good defense, especially their defensive ends. But I see them. I see him getting.
The Bears are better.
Yeah,
But I don't think the offense can compete.
No, yeah, but we'll have to see how they play with Fields. Maybe they'll play him a little more. Maybe they're slowly making more reps and more reps. So I see the Bears winning. I see it being a high-scoring game. I don't see how the Bengals stop their running. I think they're going to have some good screenplays and some good throws. I see probably Andy Dalton also. You got to remember, one of the Bengals' best quarterbacks in the previous history. So I think this is a grudge match for him.
If you say it's weird to say that so you say Andy Dalton's one of the best quarterbacks in your history, and then your team must suck.
Well, no, that's not true because he had a great season there.
They made the playoffs once in like 8 years.
No, that is not true. But
that's like saying,
him and AJ Green were amazing there. All right, he was underrated when he was there. He made Pro Bowls. He was a Pro Bowler there. But yeah, I see him.
Steve Kerr, was one of the best Bulls ever.
No, that's just 100% false. But anyways, I see him going all out. If this is the time to show you're a starter, this is it. Or if there's a time to show you're a starter, this is the game. It's your revenge match.
7 picks.
Yeah, it's your revenge match. There's a guy breathing down your neck. This team wasn't good last year, even with Joe Burrow healthy. No matter if they just won against a good team, Vikings kind of do that. They kind of lose to the worst teams and beat the best. It's kind of the way of the Vikings. So I'm not too impressed with the Bengals. I think they did good, but I'm not too impressed to say they're going to win, especially this matchup. But this is a close matchup.
I think I picked the Bears because I had thought that Fields would be starting this game. Correct?
No, I think you said that he was going to start the game after this, but you still picked the Bears.
Oh, okay. I did. Okay. Well.
If you feel like the Bengals are going to win, you can say that, but you're just going to be...
Nah, just keep it what it is. Keep it what it is. Fields will start at the second half because Andy Dalton will have 37 yards and interceptions. So.
I think I'm marking it right now. Andy's going to have over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns.
We'll have to see, man. He looks so bad. Of course, it was against the Rams, but he just looks so bad.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you look at whatever he...
last year in Dallas, he looked good. I admit that. That's why we got this job in 10 mil. He got 10 mil to do this. 10 mil. Also,
Nick Foles is breathing down both their necks. All right, people forget Nick Foles is on that squad.
He ain't going no. Oh my God, he's a fart in the wind. He had one good season, man.
Not to Tom Brady. Tom Brady hates him. But no, Andy Dalton. There, like I said, there's with you and your brother. He had this one play where he literally pushed down Aaron Donald, spun out of him. Obviously, he still got sacked, but that wasn't really his fault. If you have 2 people coming at you, you're gonna get sacked. But
you got to have a player. You have to have a quarterback. I don't care what team you're on, that will throw the ball downfield when needed.
Yeah,
And
but I
Andy
mean,
Dalton just did not. The other night, it was like watching. I mean, here you can see it. He averaged 5 yards a pass. 5.
but yeah, with Justin Fields though, his throws he's making are so robotic. You can tell he's working on his craft. So that's one thing that worries at me coming
Mm-hmm.
early, and I'm a huge fan of him. So we'll have to see what happens. But I'm more of the I believe he'll be forced to start.
Yeah,
It could be Andy
they
Dalton's
lose this game no
play.
matter what.
Yeah,
They need to
I
start
don't
him.
think he should, but I think he'll be forced. But Houston versus Cleveland, obviously, I don't see any difference on our prediction here.
No,
I think
no. I
Houston
mean, they
shows that
almost beat
they're
the Chiefs, so I mean, they
yeah.
should have been. It's the same exact thing, man. I'm like literally just preaching the same thing I preached like last year and the year before. Run the dang ball, man. What is going on? I hate it, dude. I hate it. It gets these. They could have beat they would have beat the Chiefs if they just run the ball.
Yeah,
They stopped running the ball, and Baker Mayfield just started throwing again.
yeah,
Like I'm not saying Baker can't throw, but at that situation, you got 2 top 20 running backs. Run the ball. I
yeah.
don't care if you run the ball 3 straight times and you don't get anywhere. Then we'll talk.
Top
This
15, top 15 running backs, honestly.
I like Kareem Hunt, man. I do. I
Yeah,
think that if the I don't care what people said, if the Chiefs would have him, you know what? There's a chance they might have won both Super Bowls. Seriously.
yeah,
They might.
but I mean, he lies, he lies. They're gonna keep him if he was just honest and he lied. Peter
I
blank.
know, but think about the people on their roster right now. Think about it. I won't go into detail. Think about the people on the roster, and they let Kareem Hunt go.
Yeah, but you have to. Insanity, you have to.
Isn't Frank Clark like a felon right now? But he gets to play in the NFL because he took a plea deal or something.
I don't know. He didn't play first game though.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I'm saying? Like he's still practicing. He's still on the rosters. It's something like
But it's
that.
not about what he did. It's about him lying and saying nothing happened. Well,
Yeah,
there's
well,
footage of you kicking a woman in the face.
he was drunk. How did he supposed to know?
They're
No,
in,
I'm just kidding. I'm just
they're in a
kidding.
video of Frank
That's,
Clark, pointing a gun at somebody,
I
or
thought that he got some. I don't
or
know, but
Deshaun
anyway.
or Deshaun Watson, taking off the towel. But anyways,
I
let's
mean,
go. Let's
they're very like the Chiefs. The Chiefs, I don't say lucky, but they're very blessed that they got Patrick Mahomes because if they took any of the other quarterbacks or took any other, this whole team would just be in shambles because he's the glue. I mean, of course he's amazing. He's MVP, 500 million, but I'm saying. Look what they drafted around him. Besides that, I mean, of course, Hill and Kelsey, but I'm saying all the legal issues on that team
yeah.
in the last 8 years, 10 years. All the turmoil. Alex Smith. I say Alex Smith really held them together, but like, it's just crazy to think that all these players have these big old history, and the Chiefs have a history with I don't want like bringing up Javon Belcher's name, but I'm saying it's just it's the persona that you can do whatever you want, and I think Patrick Mahomes is the only person on that team that hasn't had any issues with that. I mean, you go down the list. I'm pretty sure it's. I
I
don't
mean,
really
Kelsey
know.
has it.
Well, he was a bad boy in the first 5 years of the league. Remember, he got most penalties by a
Oh
tight
yeah, just
end.
because he would go like this to the ref.
I know, but I'm saying like even that and Tyreek Hill, his issues too. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of like it a lot. I mean, they all grew up more, but it was yeah, Patrick Mahomes probably saved this whole roster like 100%.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't have drafted him if we didn't think he was this because Alex Smith was coming off an MVP-esque
Oh yeah,
season. So
I know, but besides him, there's good players, but there's no. I can't think of an All-Pro player in the last 5-6 years of drafting, besides Patrick Mahomes.
Chris Jones.
Oh yeah, his thing fell out.
His thing.
That's
All
why I
right, let's
drafted
move
him.
on because you're being a hater right now. LA.
No. I just said that like
You'd be a hater.
Patrick Mahomes saved this team.
They were honest, okay? Kareem Hunt wasn't. He kick a hoe. L.A. Rams, Colts. L.A. Rams versus Colts. Obviously, I think the Rams are going to win this. I don't change my mind. Obviously, I don't think I said the Colts
Yeah, the Colts, not Patrick Mahomes, Carson Wentz played great. I don't care what people said. He literally got pressured more than any other quarterback in Week 1, more than
Yeah.
any other quarterback, and he still, kept them in the game to a
It's gonna
certain
be
extent.
worse now. It's gonna be worse now.
I mean,
But
worse now, yeah, with Aaron Donald. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
no,
So they better get
he
their
was
crap together.
composed. There's nothing you can do. It's kind of like Chicago versus Rams. There's nothing you can do when the other quarterback is on fire like that. I mean, his first 4 passes were like 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You can't
Yeah, I
stop
know.
that. But so
Still
what
Russell Wilson.
are you going Rams this one, or you think the Colts are gonna?
I think the Rams are, man. Looking at this, I mean,
They don't have a consistent wide receiver to throw to.
they don't. And Carson Wentz is good. I don't care what people say about him. I love Carson Wentz, but I think Matthew Stafford takes this offense again. I think he goes 350, 3 or 4
Do you
touchdowns. Or
think he's
something.
gonna win the MVP of the year?
I
If healthy.
I'm pretty sure when we did this in the beginning of the year, we talked about. I said he was up there. People who could win the MVP. I think I picked Kyler Murray, but honestly, Kyler Murray has it too right now.
Yeah,
I
we,
mean,
we both said
yeah.
Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, and Matt Stafford were our
Or 3,
top
yeah.
three. Yeah.
And I think you can even throw in a fourth right so far based off Week 1, Dak Prescott. I mean, based upon
We did say that too, but he's
Yeah, so-
obviously going to win Comeback Player of the Year.
Oh yeah, there's no. I mean, yeah, as long as he stays, what he's doing. But I think I knew it because we said earlier, Matthew Stafford's a 5,000 yard passer. He is. Go back and look at it. There's only like 5 quarterbacks ever to throw for 5,000 yards, or maybe 6 now with Mahomes.
Yeah.
And he's one of them. It will change this year because the extra game there'll probably be 4 or 5 this year. They'll
Yeah.
throw for 5,000, but before 5,000 was a marker that only so many quarterbacks ever got to. So he can sling it, man. So I think the Rams win.
Especially with an extra game, he could be one of those people that break records. And we talked about that too. A person, which I know I'm off killer, but a person that is not a quarterback that could win the MVP is Alvin Kamara. I mean, the way he played Week 1 was insane. Obviously, 5 touchdowns to Jameis, but all because of him in the defense. He could be somebody that could win the MVP if a quarterback doesn't win it.
I chose Fitzpatrick over Jameis Winston, but to be fair, Jameis Winston only had 160 passing yards, the lowest ever with 5 touchdowns. So it was like, it can happen, but the next week Winston will throw 3 interceptions and no touchdowns or something.
I don't think he's gonna be like that this year though. I feel something special with him. I know he was crazy in the offseason, but I think there's something to it. Also,
Didn't he do this
him
big
looking
doodle
up.
thing or something?
Yeah.
Like he was something like that.
There's also him looking up to Drew Brees and him actually wanting to learn. I think that's the biggest thing.
I like him.
He wasn't. He's a cocky person, but he wasn't cocky then. He wanted to listen. He wanted to learn, and he's humble when it comes to that.
He's the 2-time CFL champion with my Broncos, man. I know how good he is.
Jameis.
Yeah, I had him his rookie year and his second year. That's when I won 2 in a row.
Then I had him the next 2, right?
Yeah. I let him go because of Carson Wentz. Because I had Carson Wentz and Jameis and Drew Brees, and then Carson did better his rookie year than Winston did there that year. So I kept Winston, or I kept and then you got him.
The next one, Buffalo Bills, Miami. I think the Buffalo Bills bounce back. Miami is just not a team I know they beat Patriots, but they're not a team that you want to bet for. And I don't change my mind of the Bills winning this one.
The only reason they won, it was under 2 minutes to go, and the Patriots were just trying to get a little bit better field position to kick a field goal. He had to make the field goal, so we don't know, but because the running back fumbled, it would have been Patriots 1-0 in Miami. And no, I don't trust Tua so far. I don't think they got decent weapons. They drafted Waddle. He's a rookie. Parker's 900 to 1,000 yard wide receiver has been. He's done that a couple times, but I don't think that their offense is capable enough to compete with anybody.
No, and the thing with Devontae Parker is, if he has a slinger, we talked about Terry McLaurin earlier. If Devontae Parker has a quarterback that can throw the ball deep, he's a 1,300 yard receiver. But with Fitzpatrick, he's not a deep threat thrower. He does here and there. He does more than a Tua, more than a Heineke. He does throw deep balls, but not to the extent you need for Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
But he is capable. I'm not saying he's an elite wide receiver, but he is capable to be a top 5, at least in yards. But he's just not thrown to that much. But yeah, Miami, I don't see them winning this.
No. Buffalo, I think so. Buffalo be 1-1, Miami be 1-1. That's about right.
Yeah. New England versus Jets. Obviously, I'm picking the Patriots. The Jets didn't look too bad though first week, but
People are saying Wilson played horrible, and I'm like, he's a rookie quarterback, threw for 200+ yards, had a touch. I think he had 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
no, he did good. 200 of the interceptions weren't his fault.
Okay, so he had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a.
Oh yeah, that one interception wasn't his fault.
No, I think I think the Jets lose this one because the defense of New England is better.
Yeah.
And I think Mac Jones played lights out. I mean, he did. I don't get almost 300 yards. I mean, he only had 1 touchdown, but that's because their running back Harris had 100 yards. So someone else was getting involved. But I think New England wins this one, and I'll put Jets 0-2. And I think the Jets have potential. They just got it. It's not this year. It's not this year.
No. I do think Zach Wilson. He showed me. With me being negative against him, really just negative against the Jets. He's showing me that he can win, but we'll see if they do. We have our standings still, so I wonder how messed up they're going to be when we're done with all this. But that's saved. That's 100% saved.
Probably messed up.
Probably because, pretty bad, but
well, I didn't take into consideration that every team in the division plays each other twice. So a lot of these teams.
You started thinking about that, but
it was too late. I just went with it.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's what you're supposed to do. We just want to talk shop, San Fran Eagles. I think I picked the Eagles. Honestly, I don't know what. I think we both picked the Eagles.
I got the Eagles in this one. I think Garoppolo played really well last week. I think they ran the ball well. I think this will be a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
I don't see San Francisco has a good defense, but not a great defense. They got good players, but they gave up, what was that? 30 points almost in the second, third, and fourth quarters to the who was it they played last week?
The Lions.
The Lions, yeah, they gave it up to the Lions. Come on now, man.
They also benched some people though too.
They stopped running the ball.
Miles Sanders is a real deal. I think this is a type of game you're going to see that. They also have 3 weapons at the wide receiver, and they have 2 good. Well, now 1. I think Ertz got hurt.
He's questionable, I think. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's questionable every game of every career.
Oh yeah, he's still
or every start of his career. But Goddard is good. Goddard's good.
They got if Ertz plays, they got 5 viable targets.
Exactly.
And Jalen Hurts also runs the ball, so you have this dual threat.
Their defense is just not good.
No, but they got Fletcher Cox in the middle who can make some plays.
Darius Slay.
Yeah, so they got people that can make plays. So I think it'll be like a high 30s game. I think 35-31.
We're saying undefeated for Eagles. That's crazy. Now we're going
based off of last week. I mean, they destroyed the Falcons.
Now we're going Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, and this is where everyone's going to say how Derek Carr's not elite now, because this defense killed Josh Allen, and there's no way that with a Josh Jacobs out, which I think that he's 100% out, there's no way they're going to go.
Peyton
with this
Barber's actually they said they're going to get the start with Kenyon Drake taking receiving duties.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I don't like the Steelers. I probably hate the Steelers more than the Raiders.
Yeah, I think Steelers win. I think Roethlisberger played okay last week. I think that they'll get back to running the ball because Oakland's defense is not very good. They got a couple good hitters, a couple playmakers here and there, but like the defensive ends, like we talked about.
That's it. Really, just their defensive ends.
I like their safety. Mullins gives up some big plays, but he hits hard. He hits everything that moves, and I like that. But besides that, name a linebacker on their team.
I don't want to.
I
can't.
Name a cornerback. You can't.
No.
So it's just yeah, I think it'll be so they'll both be no the Steelers will be 2-0 if they win. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think Steelers
They're both
win.
undefeated. Yeah. Yeah. We're both saying the same thing. I think Derek Carr is not going to get past T.J. Watt. He was getting rushed with the Ravens, and they don't have a runner. They have Calais Campbell. You know what I'm saying? So Justin Houston's good too, but at this stage of his career, he's really just
Yeah, he had a
pressure
couple
push.
quarterback hits. I thought that
He just moves the pocket. Those two move the pocket. They don't sack. You know what I'm saying? They move the
yeah.
pocket. But Nolans versus Carolina, we both obviously said Saints. Do you change your mind even at the slightest on this one?
No, I think Carolina has a good offense, and I think they'll score some touchdowns. It might even be close. I think is it in Carolina?
It appears
No.
so.
That'd be the home opener.
Yeah, it's in Carolina.
So yeah, the crowd for the first time in a couple years will make it interesting. But I think the Saints score 35 points, 40 points maybe. Again, I think just because Alvin, like you said, Alvin Kamara can do everything, and it just makes everything easier. And the defense, but this might make it interesting though. They have 2 players and 7 assistant coaches out with COVID, or at least out this week.
Jesus.
So
Remember,
might make it interesting.
They played in Duval last week when they beat the Packers, so I don't think a home field advantage matters at all.
Okay. Okay.
But with that being said, that tight end I told you to pick up for the Saints, I think his name's like Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, Bob let Judy go.
Well, I saw he's out for a little bit, but
He's out for up to 6 weeks. But I'm like, so
you
week
don't
7.
drop him.
So
You don't
we
drop
have.
him after he dropped one pass, which I think, like I said this last year. I know he dropped a lot of passes last year, but so did Tony Gonzalez his rookie year.
I know, but he had a chance to win his 3 games. I said he's going to be good, from the beginning.
We're
but
both
he's
on the
gotta
same. Yeah,
He had to catch the ball, and and he dropped another pass the other day, but he's just too quick. And even if they don't rush him back for this, fantasy wise, I could not pick him up. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
we have like a 14-week season now in fantasy, or 13 or 14 because of that extra game.
Yeah.
So I have him for half the season as my 4th receiver.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't a Bob shouldn't have dropped him.
No, but that tight end that I told you to pick up, he got 2 touchdowns. I think he's still on the free agency, but I don't see any reason for anyone
and
to
his
pick him
girlfriend are on TikTok. You need to look
but he's a wide receiver switched to tight end, so he's pretty athletic. But anyway,
he made that play, that catch. That was honestly not the best.
I warned you about
ball.
it. I warned you.
That
about
wasn't
it.
the best thrown ball. I know, but
you can't pick him in the draft. You can't pick him in the draft.
I'm loaded at literally every position right now.
Yeah, you can't pick
I
him
lost,
in the
but
draft.
the only reason I lost last week in fantasy football is because Fitzpatrick got hurt. So I can't control that. It's like I said the other night.
Raheem Mostert ruined my whole season, but that's okay. But we're going next to Denver and Jacksonville, which I'm Teddy 2 wins here. They're going to win.
It's going to be a blowout. It's going to be like 31.
I'm actually
10.
starting Bridgewater over Carson Wentz. So
yeah, because of the defense. Yeah, I would too with the
Yeah, because he could get picked off. He could get picked off. Teddy won't get picked off. I mean, Jaguars.
But what if his glove rips? What if his glove rips?
He'll be all right.
Teddy
little shovel pass, little screen, He'll be all
right. I think the Broncos win. Of course, I'm a Broncos fan. What am I going to say? But especially, I'm sure there's going to be like 90.
They're going to lose to Jacksonville.
90% of America is going to say the Broncos are going to win. So
Minnesota versus Cardinals. Cardinals, obviously.
This will be tough. This will be tough because I think it's going to be a shootout because Arizona. I know Chandler Jones had 5 sacks last week, but besides that, of course, 5 sacks. Oh my gosh! But that doesn't happen every week. It just doesn't. There's not very many people that do that. So I think it'll be a shootout, but I think Arizona wins because Kyler Murray's better than Kirk Cousins by 100 yards.
Long shot. But yeah, with
Olon Johnson.
He has too many receivers. Honestly, Christian Kirk is better than AJ Green. He's underrated. I mean, there's a reason why Larry Fitzgerald's like, I'm just gonna sit out for a little bit because you don't need me. Obviously,
Pretty much.
anyone can use Larry Legend, but
If someone gets hurt, Fitzgerald will sign back with them probably.
I don't
He
think he's
owns part of
not
the
signed
Suns.
with them though. I don't think he's not signed with. I think he's still signed with them. I
I
think
think
he's
he's an
still under
RFA.
contract. I'm not sure.
I think he's a restricted free agent. I don't know though, but he owns part of the Suns. That not to get a
Yeah.
sidetracked here, but
I don't think he'll play for a different team at all.
no, he's either done forever or like he might come back this year later on. We'll see.
Or next year. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very excited for the Cardinals. They're one of my favorite teams to watch. K1 is my quarterback. That's my quarterback. But yeah, the Vikings. They're the type of team that would randomly beat a good team like this, but I don't see them doing it.
No, I think they get close again, like a touchdown or something because their offense can keep up with people.
Dalvin Cook.
But yeah, but besides that, I don't see them winning. I don't think their defense is good enough. No matter how much my brother says their defense is good, I watched the game of the other day and I don't think it was that good.
No,
They got good players, but I don't think it hasn't clicked this last year and a half.
no. And when it comes to the defensive backs, the Cardinals, I think, have better defensive backs. All around, their star players.
Patrick Peterson, revenge game though, so he might get a pick. You never know.
Yeah, but who's he going to guard? D-Hop? You still got 3 other people you can throw to.
Exactly. Because Peterson's still good. Peterson looked good the other day. The problem wasn't him; it was just everyone else.
No, yeah, but you look at overall, you have superstars on the Vikings, but as a team, I like the Cardinals more when it comes to defense.
They're missing something. The Vikings, my brother says they look fine. Whatever. This last year and a half, they're missing the it factor.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
just how it
when
is.
you have a rookie
Listen, I would compare it to the Saints, in that 4 or 5 year stretch where they're like 8-8, 9-7, maybe make one playoff game, maybe not.
Yeah.
Where the offense was great, and you know who Drew Brees was, and you knew who the players were, but they just didn't have that it factor, and it makes a difference. It does, But I think Minnesota loses this probably like I don't know, like 30 to 21 or something like that.
Yeah, you can't have a wide receiver that can't see the ball, like the people took what he said and flipped it, but you can't have a rookie wide receiver run for a 60-yard route, and that can't happen if you're that dominant of a defense.
Yeah, exactly.
Atlanta versus Tampa. Obviously, we're not changing our opinions on this game.
We'll just move on. Tampa by a blowout, probably.
Matt Ryan has to run the ball, and that's saying a lot. Mike Davis is not an every down back.
Their offense coordinator, their coaching staff sucks, man. I watched that game the other day, and it's like Ridley just beats his guy, right? And then Matt Ryan's like, okay, he told me to check down, so I'm going to check down to Cordero Patterson or something. What are you doing, man? Not that Patterson's not good, but
yeah.
We talked about this earlier with the Giants. You got to get your playmakers the ball. It doesn't matter how you get them the ball. You got to get the ball because if it's a 5-yard slant, he could take it to house. Your playmakers can do that. So they got to get Ridley and Pitts more involved than they did last week.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Pitts got like double teamed right off his first game. He was getting double teamed. So I see that happening a lot, especially with those fast run linebackers. I mean, this defense is just getting better. This defense is young. That's the thing about if Tom Brady, which I'm calling this right now, not this year, but when Tom Brady retires, Gronk and Antonio Brown are going with him. That's almost 100% guaranteed, I think.
For sure, Gronk. Yeah, for sure.
And I see. Actually, let's go through the last game, and then we'll talk some more. We got 4 games left, so we'll talk some more about. Before we get off here, we'll talk more about it. But Dallas versus Chargers. I think we both picked Chargers. What do you think about this matchup? This is going to be a great matchup.
Based on last week, I think I would change my pick to the Cowboys because 3 turnovers. Now, the defense made none of them besides so none of them. There was 2 interceptions and a fumble. Ronald Jones' fumble was forced by the Cowboys. The other two, one was at half. It was just a Hail Mary. That doesn't count. I mean, it'll count, but it doesn't. It's not like. And the other one, Fournette should have caught. So they didn't force really anything besides the fumble. They forced one fumble. I'll give them that. But so I don't think Dallas can hold LA. But based upon what Dak did last week with almost 400 yards and CeeDee Lamb and Cooper and the tight ends and Zeke's going to get the ball a lot more because LA does not have a run defense.
No, they have Nick Bosa.
But,
they have good. So I think you say it Tillery. He's a good defensive tackle. They have pieces that are good, but yeah, you're right. They're running. They're more of a pass coverage. But with that being said, the offensive line is struggling with the Cowboys. I think Zach Martin's back this week, possibly.
Yeah.
That could change in a bit.
Lost Collins, but they held it together last week to a certain point because as a Chiefs fan, that if you allow 1 or 2 sacks against the Tampa, the Bucks, that's a pretty good day.
The biggest difference here is the secondary. You got Derwin James coming through the middle. He's gonna CeeDee Lamb is gonna get smacked. And that's knocking out one wide receiver because he's the only person that's really in the middle.
And you got Coop though, no one can guard him, and then you throw.
But I think this is going to be a shootout. And it's
I would change my pick to the Cowboys.
Yeah,
if it's not there.
It's going to go down to Zeke versus Eckler. Who's gonna be up to par because both of these are key. Because normally they're either hit or miss, both of them. So I'm still going to stick with Chargers, just because the Cowboys don't have luck. They have a lot of bad luck, but
they do. But I think I'm hoping Cowboys get that win. So
yeah, me too. Honestly, for Dak because I like Dak a lot even before he got hurt. I've always loved Dak. So. Tennessee versus Seahawks. With Tennessee's crazy because I heard Mike Vrabel got into Julio Jones and basically he wasn't working hard. When Mike Vrabel speaks, you want to listen, not just because he's your head coach, but he's intimidating guy.
I know, but Julio Jones pop him in the head. I don't care who you are, man.
What do you think about that?
But he listens. He respects him. I think he respects him. I think Julio Jones knows. But at the same time, you're going to get into your O-line for giving up 37 sacks on Tannehill.
I don't think it was disrespectful. I think it was just making him the leader. Maybe he hasn't shown his leadership. Maybe that's what the cause was. But the way the Seahawks got after it to Carson Wentz, I see this happening again, and I think I picked Tennessee over the Seahawks. I would change my pick. I think I'd go Seahawks over this one. What do you think?
I think Tennessee gets their crap together. I think they start feeding Derrick Henry the ball. I think he had 8. They got blown out, so of course they're not going to have. But he had 8 rushes, something like that, at halftime. 9 rushes. That's not going to work. No. You know that. You got to give him touches, and then he'll break 2 or 3 and have 180 yards rushing. You got to keep feeding him, and unless he has 20 rushes for 0 yards or something crazy. But that's another. Tennessee is the same. I hold him in the same as Cleveland and San Francisco. Run the dang ball. Just run the ball.
So we actually said that they were going to throw it more though too.
Yeah, exactly. That opens up each other.
There's one player that concerns me when it comes to Derrick Henry versus the Seahawks, and that's one way to look at it. I think they'll actually throw the ball more than they did last game because their pocket will open up. I don't see him. I'm forgetting his name. That's why I'm kind of going away from the player. I just thought off the top of my head. Why is his face is right here? I see his face. but his
You're talking
name
about Bobby Wagner.
Bobby Wagner. There you go. I kept saying Wagner, but I kept starting it with Fred Warner.
Fred Wagner.
Yeah, I was about to say, I didn't want to
There's a
embarrass
frog in
myself.
here.
But there's a frog in here. But the way they played against Carson Wentz was pretty good. So I see that happening again.
What did Jonathan Taylor have last week, dude? Against that team?
He had a good game. I think he had 150 total yards, 2 touchdowns, something like that. I don't know off the top of my head, but we're gonna go into the next game.
They had 113 yards rushing as a team. He had 56, Himes had 34, and Wentz had 23. So it's pretty good. But I think they got to. No, I'm not saying they got to run Henry 30 times, but they got to get him touches. I mean,
oh yeah,
they got to.
Kansas City versus Baltimore. I'm taking Kansas City. Obviously, I think Baltimore shows that they need some milk.
They need to run the dang ball is what they need to do. I noticed because I'm not going to say the Chiefs need to run the ball because the Chiefs are a passing team.
Yeah.
But these teams that have the identity as running the ball, they got to stick with it. They can't just go away from it because they're playing the Chiefs. No, you didn't get to where you got, by passing. But yeah, Chiefs win. Chiefs win this one. Is that Arrowhead or are they in Baltimore this time?
They're in Baltimore, but I don't think it matters.
No, I don't think so either. But the Chiefs do have to bring it because they can't start the game off like they did last week.
No, I don't think they'll start off hot though. I think they know what they're facing and they know the weakness. If Derek Carr finds a weakness, I think Mahomes can find the weakness. But Detroit versus Green Bay, the last game, the Monday night game. I think Green Bay gets it back together. What I mean, I can't pick the Lions over Green Bay, no matter how bad they look.
I don't even know. I'd probably pick Green Bay, man, but I don't know, man.
I think you honestly picked Lions for some reason.
I'm sticking with it.
Nope, you say Green Bay. All right, well
I said I should probably pick it.
That'll do it for week 2. Obviously, some of our opinions have changed looking at this. To finish off this podcast, we're going to talk about the hot seat, and we're also going to predict. Before we get to the hot seats, I want to talk about Tom Brady. When do you think he'll retire? Because I think he'll have 2 more good years, and especially if he wins 1 more Super Bowl ring, I think he's done after that. But what do you think, being a fan or at least watching his career?
Okay, so I've seen it with all my favorite quarterbacks. Okay, I've seen it with Peyton Manning, and I've seen it with Drew Brees. There's a time where you see it to where, Peyton went out on top, but it was because he had a good run game and his defense was number 1 in the league. He knows that. I mean, he still led the team. He still did what he had to do.
Yeah.
But I don't see that in Tom Brady yet. I don't see where it's like, oh man, he didn't make that pass. He doesn't see that defense anymore, or something crazy like that. No, there hasn't. I mean, he looked on point. Every pass was. I mean, like I said, he had 2 interceptions.
It's a laser show.
That's what it was, because it wasn't like he's throwing bombs like to Tyreek Hill or something. It was like every time he threw the ball, he knew exactly where to put it. Gronk saying it. I mean, both of his he had 2 interceptions, and people will probably be like, "Look, who didn't watch the game? Oh, whoa, he had 2 picks.
Yeah.
They weren't. No. It was a Hail Mary 50-yard throw, and it was off Fernand's hands right here. So.
Yeah.
But I think 2 years is good, like you said. I think based on what I'm seeing now, I don't see him stopping after this year unless they lose every game here on out, and they won't. So
I don't think he's slowing down even when he retires. You look at the Bucs offense. He probably has 9 targets that are great quality targets. I mean, you got 2 tight ends, you got 5 wide receivers. Playoff Lenny can be a good catcher if he's on point. So you got a whole bunch of targets. Plus that defense is up there with that Denver defense that Peyton had, but Peyton didn't have the targets like Tom did. That's a huge difference.
Thomas, that's it.
Also, Peyton Manning had a bad back. That has a lot to do with the way he played.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That's why the Colts.
He had neck surgery.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why the Colts let him go. I mean, you don't let go Peyton Manning. It's like letting go Alex Smith. Like that leg's not going to be the same. But we're running out of time, so we're going to get quick to these hot seats. Obviously, these head coaches, these rookie coaches, looked real good week one. Obviously, it was a 1 week, so I'm not really too worried about head coaches.
I got one.
I want to talk about quarterbacks, but go ahead and talk about your one.
Matt Nagy. Okay, now we can move on.
Oh, he's not out of there. Honestly,
no, if he was about to be this year. So I mean, if this doesn't go good, they're gonna bring somebody in there. So.
What quarterbacks do you see in the hot seat? Because we've talked about Kirk a lot, and I know we both stay.
They pay him too much money.
Yeah, I know we both stay true to that. But who do you think's in the hot seat this year, or who do you think might get replaced next year?
I'm checking it. I know some of these older quarterbacks are going to get replaced, but I don't necessarily know that they're in the hot seat. They might just retire, like Fitzpatrick or Roethlisberger. So technically, they're not in the hot seat to the point where like their names will be tarnished or something. But we talked about Kirk, but I think they pay him too. Jimmy Garoppolo comes to mind probably is the but he had a great game week one. So it's like if he continues to do that, of course he's not going to be in the hot seat. But if he does, has kind of bad games here and there, then I mean he was already in the hot seat. They drafted someone third overall. You don't draft a quarterback if you're not going to replace him.
And well, the big thing about him is everyone talks about the Super Bowl and how he did bad. They ran the ball 35 times the 2 games prior. I mean, you can't knock him for something that he hasn't been doing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he's a bad. I think he gets a bad rap just because of that. Yeah. On top of that, I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I don't think he should be benched at all this year.
I don't think he will. Yeah, they run the ball, they win the game. We talked about this. How's that your house? Yeah, I don't think he will soon, but I think if he doesn't keep performing, because he had a great first game. But he's got to continue on that. He's got to have 5 or 6 games in a row. He can't go 3 games in a row now where he has 200 yards and 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and they don't win. They go 2-2 or something, because the fan base, the owner, probably the players at that point are going to be like, we kind of want Trey Lance in here just to get somebody fresh in here.
And I always look back at Mahomes and Alex Smith. We always wanted Mahomes to start that last year, even if Alex Smith being the MVP, they wanted Mahomes to be playing. I always look at that, and obviously Garoppolo is not a Alex Smith, but Trey Lance is obviously not a Mahomes too. But if they see that type of caliber through him, I can see them doing what they did with Alex Smith, especially if they're making the playoffs.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
If he plays good, there's no reason to bring Lance in. If he plays good, and Alex Smith played good last year, there was no reason. I think that was his best season
ever, honestly. And he didn't have a Jamal Charles. He didn't have a running. He was the leading running back. He was throwing wide receiver touchdowns because that was a big thing before that. But he was making Kelsey who he was. He was making Tyreek who he is. So that's also something to say. But did you have any other people besides the people that you mentioned?
Not that I looked at. We know Aaron Rodgers is probably not going to be there this year. We, like I said, we know Fitzpatrick, Roethlisberger are probably going to retire. I think you could throw Derek Carr into there, but then again, like I said, they won the game, whether or not it was his on his back or not. If they go 8-8, 9-7, okay, so 8-9, maybe let's say 9-8, something like that. 10 he's not going to probably go anywhere, but they'll probably draft someone. But I think the only ones that are on the hot seat are, like I said, probably Garoppolo. I think Cousin makes too much money. That's what it looks like because all these other quarterbacks are either young, rookies, or they're not going to get replaced like Mahomes, Brady, Josh Allen. I mean, I could see if the Broncos don't win in some games, Bridgewater definitely will bench. But then again, like I said, every quarterback pretty much in the whole league played at least decent last week. Go back and look at the stats at least. It wasn't like there wasn't a quarterback out there that was like, okay, well, he had 3 interceptions and 87 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, even Tyrod Taylor had 300 yards, didn't he, or something like that?
Yeah, and so obviously he's always on the hot seat. Unfortunately, he should have never been in the hot seat in the Bills. I mean, he brought them to the playoffs with a bad team. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say what I thought happened there because it's not my place to say it. But obviously Nathan Peterman was not the answer. But anyways,
No.
I talk about Kirk. I want to talk about obviously the Denver Broncos. I think that's a huge show that they want. They want a new quarterback. Unfortunately for Drew Lock, I don't think that makes sense. But on the other side of the coin, I think he could go to, let's say, the Giants, because I think Daniel Jones, this is a make or break for him too. I can see a Drew Lock going there, competing for that spot and taking it with a Galladay, with the Shepard, with the Evan Ingram. I can see him fit perfectly there if he does leave the Broncos.
All I know is that Daniel Jones on Madden 18 is the greatest.
Madden 19, okay?
19, I'm sorry, is the greatest quarterback ever. So, 100,000 yards.
Well, I like him, but you can't watch a whole game of him and not think that he's not like the one. You can't look at.
He has those flashes, and it's
you can't overlook his flaws.
He'll make a great play.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I didn't watch game 1, but the other night he played really good.
Yeah.
He has moments, but the other night is not on him. The other night is if whatchamacallit makes that catch, Slayton makes that catch, they win. Yeah. If someone doesn't go offsides, they win. I mean, there's two or three things that are out of his control completely, they win.
That was a great game, and by him. And like you said, it was not his fault at all. I think Tua is in the hot seat, especially if Deshaun wins his case, which I doubt it. I doubt he'll win his case, but Miami's definitely hot seat is kind of rough because this is really his first year starting. I know he started games last year, but this is the first whole season, and he's actually the starter day one. So, I think that's it for the hot seats really. When it comes to coaches, I think of McCarthy, Matt LaFleur, especially if Aaron Rodgers and the group leave. I know he's early in his career, but still. Sometimes if you want to win, even if you lose money, you kick the coach. So
yeah, the Broncos head coach, if they don't make the playoffs, is on the hot seat too. We haven't really talked about that, but if they don't make the playoffs this year, he's gone. There's no reason for him to stay.
I don't think they will make the playoffs, just because of how big the other divisions are. But that's not saying they won't. I just don't know. We looked through it and we didn't. I don't think we put them in the playoffs. So
I did. I think I said they could have got a wild card because they play Oakland twice and they're going to win this week. So no matter what, if they beat Oakland twice, they're 4 games already. Even if they lose 2 to the Chiefs, 4-2, split with the Raiders, they're 5-3.
Yeah, we both have them second in the division.
And they play Houston still. Okay, so they play Houston. They'll play. Who else? Tennessee will be a good game, and they play. Who else is in that division? What am I missing here? Tennessee, Houston.
Chargers one out.
Yeah, so
you're talking about that.
Yeah, so I think they will, but go ahead and finish.
No, I was just gonna say they're you predicted 1-1 with the Chargers. But yeah, they are a good team to face when you're great teams. There's such a dominant defense to where it puts everyone in check. Josh Allen scared me the first game. Not him necessarily, but the Bills in general. Kind of looked like when they faced the Chiefs in the playoffs, it did not look good at all.
Okay, listen, not to interrupt you, but listen. So they played New York. This is Denver's season. They played New York. They played Jacksonville. They played the Jets. The first 3 games. And they play Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Las Vegas. So their first 7 games, and then you throw Cleveland. Cleveland is a good team. So their first 6 games, even if they lose to Baltimore, they can be 5-1.
Yeah.
Then after Cleveland, say they lose to Cleveland, 5-2, they play Washington, Dallas, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So and at the end of the season they have Detroit and Cincinnati. And they got a pretty easy
schedule.
Yeah.
But
so it'd be interesting. But yeah, go ahead and finish, man. I know we're getting close on time here.
Yeah, the NFC East really intrigues me. Obviously, they had bad records last year, but they're all very talented. So it'll be very interesting what they do. I think the reason why they're 7-9, the highest record, was because of how much talent they do have. Ron Rivera is not somebody to sleep on. But yeah, that's all I have left. Make sure to later this evening, which will be 4 hours after this, Chris is doing a 12-hour or more. I don't really know anymore. It's a minimum 12 hours a stream.
Minimum 4, but probably
minimum 4.
So every like will be, I think, an extra amount of time. Every follow, every share, every star donated will be extra as well. So it can go for however long. My buddies went for 28 hours.
Jesus. That's how old you. That's how old you are. That's how old you are. But please go follow him, especially if you're watching this live. Please stay tuned. Follow him if you haven't already. I'll share it. Like we say every time, it's ChrisMann0809 on any platform. But yeah, follow him. I might stream too. But I'll definitely be in there somewhere to give some support, either talking or co-streaming. We'll see. But thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. I see our views going up, and I appreciate it. We're still working out kinks.
Definitely appreciate it.
But yeah, go Chiefs. Right, Chris?